Folks, we are back. You breakdown boys, Wade Sensei. And
You're
Sensei,
here.
I got a question for you. And it's one that's been
Talk
asked
to me.
around, man. So, I see your Happy Punch hoodie.
Oh yeah,
Now they call you El Capitan.
El Capitan right here.
Now listen, normally El Capitan answers to nobody. He's the captain of the ship. But I don't know if you've seen this, but some major moves going on in your promotion today. One,
Yes.
Salt Papi has just become co-owner of Happy Punch Promotions. And in the midst of all this, that's right, I'm using words like midst. You boys got good vocabulary, but a man that punches the typewriter with these is Salt Papi, and he is looking to spell out a word for his next opponent, and that potentially may be FaZe Sensei. Have you been hearing a little bit about this on the Twitter sphere, how your name keeps getting brought up as potentially the next opponent for Salt Papi?
Yeah, I know. I saw some people tag me and mention it. Like, what about you? And even on my post, because it was the post about the contenders, right? Kenny, Temper, Wasabi, right? Who else?
We have a
Who am I
vacant
missing?
light heavyweight title. That's what's happening
Yes.
right now. Slim is moving down,
Right.
which, by the way, just quickly, what do you think about that? Slim deciding, I don't know if I want any part of Salt Papi. Let me just go ahead and move down.
It
Do you
makes
think
sense. It makes sense. Guys like this, you gotta like do what's best for you. And clearly, Slim is struggling to put on weight. It couldn't even make weight going
Couldn't
up.
even
So
make
what are
70.
we doing here?
Couldn't even make 70.
Yeah, and that works against guys who don't really know what they're doing. But as soon as you get in there with somebody who's at your level,
And I don't think
that becomes
I know
tipping
how
of the
that
scales.
looks to people, like, oh, he's scared of Salt Papi. I don't think there's a fear factor of fighting Salt Papi. I just think it's when you look at how that fight shakes out, Slim's best attribute is his one punch ability, right? Like his ability to put guys down.
Yeah,
If that is taken away and this becomes a boxing match, the fight becomes far more of a disadvantage for him to even step into right away. Then on top of that, you're dealing with a guy, like you said, that has the boxing ability on par, so you're at a disadvantage. And I don't necessarily look at it like, oh, Slim's afraid of Salt Papi. I look at it as you're playing a numbers game, and there's a set amount of chances you have to win that fight, and they've greatly diminished the more the weight rises. So if Salt Papi would to come down to Slim, I think he'd absolutely take that fight. But I think it's like you said, the weight is too much for him at that size. But getting back to the matter at hand here, I'm not trying to let you get away from this one, old sensei of FaZe. Now, talk to me about this. What would it take, not just for Sensei and Salt Papi, but to get FaZe Sensei back in the ring at all? Because is it going to be a name more so, or is it going to be the dinero, as they say?
I think it's both. I think I have to, like, just like the last one. It has to be like when I'm a big fan of this space.
Yeah.
Right. So it's got to be something that I look to that I think is really cool. Like when the Kenny thing happened, I was surprised at first, right? But then I thought it was really cool. You know, you had the whole temper thing, the whole storyline, right? And the timing matched up for me, and the money made sense.
Yeah.
So everything was just perfect. You know, I thought it was a cool matchup. It wasn't like totally random. And I thought it was going to be a cool storyline, going to be talked about.
Yeah, and it was.
And I thought it was perfect.
It was.
Yeah. So it was great.
It worked out, yeah.
I think for me, the timing right now is not great because I got my wedding coming up.
Boys getting married.
Literally, bro. And the other part of it, as you know, I'm super excited to be able to work events and build what we're doing here. And I can't do that if I'm fighting. It's just not the same. Right. So it's not that I'm against it, but because the breakdown's popping, dude, we're closing up on 50K. We're doing great things. I have events that I'm looking forward to being at and putting together this content for. So we have so much things that we're working towards that I'm focused on. And your boy's a national champion now in football.
Hey.
You know, so there's just a lot of plates spinning.
Yeah.
And your boy just hit 200 pounds for the first time in his life and is loving it. Let me tell you that.
You would have to come down. And we were already talking about a catch weight for the Kenny fight. So we'd even be coming down to 175, buddy.
So if you tell me right now 175, see you later, dude. That money's got to be crazy for what, dude. I haven't seen 175 since I fought Kenny, and I was like 180 something. A little like low 190s, but like when I really started camp, I was high 180s.
Yeah.
So
we would have to be talking catch weight for even that to happen. But let's just say, right? Hypotheticals.
But let's just say
hypotheticals. You know what I'm saying?
Hypotheticals.
Let's say the money was right, the name was right, the weight was right, and somehow they could do this to where the old face would be nice and graceful for Mrs. Sensei on wedding day. Is that a fight that would potentially interest you if everything else was the same? Money was right, everything was right.
I'm trying to think of anybody else, and this is probably the only one that makes sense to me or that would interest me.
Right. And
I can't think of anybody else.
What about it interests you? Is it the danger factor? Is it the fact that his name is rising?
Yep. It's dangerous, even though like I'm like about it, but like it's the danger factor, and also like okay, let's say with like Bruckner, right? That's a rematch one, but to me that's in a situation where like it'd be a nice fight, but we probably get pushed on the undercard. It's I had a controversial loss. He's coming off a loss. Is it like Bruckner resurging it? To me, it's just like, as a fan looking at it, it'd be a cool fight, but not like super exciting.
Got you.
In a way, right? You look at someone like Pretty Boy, right? He has experience. I have experience. Could be another one, but I don't know. Like it's not like no. But Salt Papi, dude, he just dropped.
He's got that aura about him, man.
I love his vibe. It's dangerous, and it has like he's like a main event fighter now, right? He's going to be a champion.
Yeah.
So if you're going to pull me off the couch, if I'm going to step in for a fight or do something, to be a part of something that intense, that kind of challenge, that interesting, that exciting, and the money's going to be there if it's that big of an event, right? So I know it's going to be, the money's going to be, it's going to be there, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, has all those things. It would be super challenging. He's southpaw. He's tricky. But I'll tell you this: the other part that interests me, which is super weird, but it's random. He's shorter than me.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah,
we've talked about this. And as a competitor, I'm trying to think. Only one time in MMA have I ever competed against someone who's shorter than me.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy who likes to fight at range, and so that part of it, like. Stylistically, for me to fight Bruckner, we know what I have to do. Find the inside, fight off the front foot. Not very exciting for me as a martial artist, to be honest. I'm like, dude, okay, I got to do it, but whatever.
Bite down on the mouthpiece.
Got to do this. Yep. Right. So I don't know. That's why maybe Pretty Boy was something interesting, because I like that challenge and fighting off my back foot. So with Salt Papi, stylistically, it interests me,
Chess game that the winner is, the one that doesn't get obliterated. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, and can I crack the code? Salt Papi's coming up. He's got a big name. And like, oh, okay, this is interesting for me as a martial artist. That's a question I even have for myself. I wonder if I can crack the code. I feel like maybe I could.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
we'll put it out here right now that the official answer is probably not, but.
You may see, listen, Jake Paul, when's Jake Paul KSI supposed to happen?
December this year.
Imagine, undercard for the belt, dude.
Hey.
So Papi keeps winning. He keeps winning. I'm like, you know what? It's my time. I'm coming back. I'm a married man.
He's motivated. Got the wifey. Got the
off the honeymoon, dude.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Dusting it off.
Maybe not right off the honeymoon, because I know you. You know what I'm saying? You be spurting. We get you a couple months after. But no.
Yeah.
I agree. I think this is one of the ones that I would never like call you up and say, Sensei, you got to take this fight. But
yeah,
as soon as I saw people talking about it, I was like, you know what? That one is bucket list. And I know you very well. And I know that not a lot is going to get you away from the dojo, away from the life you're living, the breakdown, all the stuff that we're doing. But when that one was mentioned, I went, that one actually might. And that's why I take it as serious enough to even ask you about it here on the. And you know what? Another thing's funny. You're not, and this is not a slight to anybody, but you're not hearing Salt Papi Kenny as much as I'm hearing Salt Papi Sensei. So the eyes of the people definitely still respect and give you flowers for your talent, for your ability. And I think a lot of people know, regardless of how that fight was judged and scored and whatever, that you're still one of the most dangerous guys in the scene. They wouldn't be asking for that fight if they didn't think there was some part of you that potentially could challenge Salt Papi and even, like you said, potentially crack the code. So I will just be on record as saying that is something I'd be very, very excited to see. Obviously, I'm rolling with my brother Sensei if that ever happens. But in the meantime, in between time, let's leave it here. If you are a fighter that's looking to crack the code, not that you want to give up everything here, but let's say it's not you and they do go with a King Kenny next or somebody. Is there a blatant way right now that we know of to crack the code that is Salt Papi?
Well, I like Kenny's. I like it with Kenny. I know Daly has said down the road.
Yeah.
But with Papi, right? He's smart, dude. You see the big left hand,
Cerebral.
you see the power shots, but he is cerebral, and he's trying to set that trap. He's talked about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is this guy. He likes to set the trap. He falls in love with his defense, and I can relate to this because I am like that way as well, right? Yeah. And we're trying to set traps. With Kenny, you see this whole, the conversation is, oh, he wasn't throwing a lot, but I was trying to set traps, right? And Kenny wasn't. He fell into the trap early in the first, didn't in the second, fell into the trap in the third, didn't really in the fourth, right? So with Salt Papi, you got to not fall into the trap, right? But listen, Salt Papi can also come forward too and bang. So it is. But with someone like him, you have to be able to get him to respect. You have to have him respect your ability to punch.
He didn't respect Josh's punching ability at all.
No, he got hit, but he got hurt. It was a bit of a bluff. It was a bit of a bluff, though, he mentioned, right? Because he gets cracked, and he's like, a couple more of those.
It would have broke my nose.
He had some bruising, right? And he has some bruising and some damage only from a couple punches. But that's a part of the game. That's a part of the trap that he sets.
Good poker face.
Yeah, great poker face. So can't fall into the traps, and you got to keep him active. You got to keep him off his back foot. And I just think it's a distance game. It's a jab game. You got to make the man miss, and you just can't fall for it. That's it. You can't fall for it, because if you do, all it takes is one time to fall for it, and you're going to be looking up to the ceiling, dude, to the rafters.
Yep.
Correct.
You got to make him miss, got to make him pay. But if you want Sensei to get his ass off the couch, you better pay some of that good money.
Yeah, bars.
Cheddar, son, come on. But that's not all. It needs to be the right fight. It needs to be the right time. But potentially, maybe in the future, looking toward that December card, if Sensei were to be interested and Papi were to keep winning, we might have a little bit of a collision course.
It would be hard for me to say no.
Okay, we'll leave it. We'll leave it right there for the people that do watch the breakdown, which is pretty much everyone, and the people that are important enough to make that fight happen. You've heard his answer. You know his demands. So, does FaZe Sensei fight Salt Papi? I guess we'll find out.